Screen sharing has resumed.
All right. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm sorry. I know I've been MIA for the last couple of weeks. Been very busy with some more offline stuff, but I think I'm back on track. Come next week, I'll be back to having my normal schedule. So, without further ado, I know it's kind of pretty busy for me. I'm sure, like a lot of other people in the U.S., it's Halloween time, so I got to get out a little early to get away to traffic and start doing the trick or treating. But let's go ahead and go to the first question. All right, first question is it possible that Google launches some new way to detect spun articles and outrank websites? Regarding my tiniest experience, but still this is somehow inevitable if someone wants to rank for his keywords. Okay, so here's the answer. So basically, can Google detect spun content? And the answer is yes, they can detect spun content, especially if it's like tokenized. What I mean tokenized is that like the simplest of all spinners, they will ask you to replace adjectives um, and maybe even replace synonyms, and or some of them we would ask to say replace every fourth word or every 10th word. So those are typical simple spinners out there, but you can still provide quality content and kind of spun, but more like it's like rewriting the whole thing. I know I mentioned it in one of the earlier videos on how to properly spin an article, and the way you do that is you have to vary the word count. So, for example, if the article is 300 words, now if you spun and just replace the synonyms, like some of the nouns, or replace some of the adjectives, it's still going to be a 300 word count. Secondly, if you're going to just rearrange the sentences, then it's still going to be the same word count, and then also it's going to be the same paragraph structure. And the way I mean is rearrange a sentence is, so like there's 5 sentences in a paragraph. You have one intro, one conclusion within the under the main topic. So most people will keep the intro and the ending, but then they'll reverse the order of the 3 sentences, the 3 subtopics. Now there's 3 subtopics. Now that is not really spinning. You're just rearranging the words, and some of the keyword phrases and some of the phrases they still going to match. And that's something that Google detects. Now keep in mind that many people will quote an article, especially blogs, and even large blogs that have blogs that kind of comment or put their 2 cents in with a particular article. Say like there was like a major news article. Let's talk about politics like right now, because that's really hot right now. So if the niche is in politics and there's a blogger that specifically talks about politics, you notice that they're going to say, for example, there is a heated article on ABC.com or CBS or one of the mainstream news organizations. Now what the blogger is going to do is they're going to copy paste things that you can do it. You can copy paste, but you just got to quote it. So if they quoted a whole paragraph and put it on their website and then they commented on there, is that technically spun content? I mean, I'm sorry. Are they going to detect that it's spun, or are they going to detect that it's duplicate content? You see what I mean? So Google understands that there's legitimate reasons why you need to have duplicate content. Okay, so I know that's one of the things that you might get penalized, but they understand that that's just part of blogging, and it's part of search engine, and you're going to see that. So not necessarily duplicate or spun content is necessarily bad. Just because they can detect it, it doesn't necessarily mean it's bad. That's what I'm trying to want you guys to understand. So, be that it may, you can copy it word for word, but you can set up in a way where you're commenting and putting your own opinions on it. So, that's what I'm saying is yes, they can detect spun content. You just have to go through the whole thing is spinning, in which I talked about in my previous videos. Okay, so you got to vary the word count. vary sentence structures, which is and paragraph structures, and you have to rewrite sentences and not just rewrite the adjectives or nouns. Okay, and then also the quotes. Most blogs do quote from other articles, but it's important that you put other stuff within those quotes. Okay, all right. So next question. Is there a way to remove backlinks? If Google drops some websites for spun content, then it is need to remove backlinks, or is it enough to leave the already existing spun context backlinks live and start building a new links the right way? Okay, so basically I'm understanding that the question is, can you remove backlinks that you feel that is going to have a negative penalty against you? To me personally, I don't think it's necessary, but if you feel as though and you feel comfortable that you want to remove some of those backlinks, then what you want to do is go to something like Yahoo SEO Explorer, use SEO Quake, and find out what the backlinks that are linking. Because even though some of the backlinks that you have but you might not want, it might not be listed in Google anyway. So it's maybe not necessarily to remove that, but if you wanted to remove it, just get a list of the bad backlinks and put it on a spreadsheet. Then see if view all the links and see if it's any of the accounts that you have created. If you didn't create any of the accounts, then you're going to have to contact the owners and see if they will either remove the content or update the links to somewhere else. See if that's possible. That is the only way I know you can do it. There's no other software or any system that that you can manipulate to remove the backlinks from the Google's algorithm. But that is the only thing I know you can do. Like I said, just get a list of all the bad backlinks and go to each of the sites. And if you happen to have access to it, say for example it's an old article directory that you got an account with, and you can just log in and just remove it or update the backlink. If not, you're going to have to send an email to the site owner or the administrator to go ahead and remove it for you. There's no other way around it. Okay. Okay, next question is, what's the most important step in determining what niche to work on? Okay. I know this is something that I covered like in the first video, but just for the webinar sake, the Q&A webinar sake, I'll just reemphasize what we talked about. Traditionally, you want to pick a niche if it's profitable. Not necessarily makes a lot of money, but if it's any commercial intent in it. It's just some niches that there's no money in it at all. I for one believe that anything is profitable, because even if that specific niche might not be profitable, there's probably a sub niche within that niche that many people buy. So, but overall, you just want to make sure that if it's monetized, not necessarily basically what people would think about is they will kind of work backwards. They will find out who the sponsors, who the advertisers, or say like they go to ClickBank and look for a very popular product, and then they try to work a site around it. Okay, I usually go the other way around and find out what the niche is, and then look to see what type of product goes with this type of service.
Screen sharing is paused.
Sorry.
Screen sharing has resumed.
Okay, so that's just something that I kind of teach in the beginning things, but so just see if there's any commercial intent, because even though there may not be a specific product or service to sell with that specific niche, look for any sub niches. For example, if your niche is just Porsche car owners, just everything Porsche, it might not necessarily just target people that owns Porsches, but people that likes Porsches. They might like other cars, or they might like to see other things that might cater to that type of community. Okay, whether it's a movie, CDs, DVDs, or any kind of books or anything of that nature. Okay, and then secondly, it's how much do you know about a niche? I mean, there's just certain things that it might be profitable, but I might not know nothing about it, or I might not have anybody around me that knows about it. And the reason why I'm saying that is you have to become some kind of authority, and you have to have some type of knowledge about that particular niche. Uh, it's just not one of the you just don't want to be in a situation where you are trying to write an article about that niche and you come off like you have no idea what you're talking about. And then secondly, you think, traditionally you'll think, okay, I'll just have an outsourcer write it. But at the end of the day, if you ever work with outsourcers, you got to tell them specifically how to write an article. And if you don't have a clue about how to write an article or how about to write a niche, it's going to be very difficult for you to explain your outsource writer how to write that article. You have to be very specific and have to have some kind of knowledge about it. Okay, I mean, like I have no experience in fishing for crabs, for example. If there's some kind of niche, about fishing crabs, I have no idea. So, I mean, I could try to do some research about it, but at the end of the day, I'm still guessing and hoping to come off as somebody. I sound really fake, basically. I mean, if you think about it, if you have some friends around your circle, I'm sure you know plenty of people that talk about a subject and then obviously they have no idea what they're talking about and they're just trying to fake it. Okay, those things can come off very easily in online, and then also it looks very spammy, especially if or it looks very spammy and robotic when you work on a niche that you have no experience in. That's what you want to avoid. Okay. Okay. All right. Here goes the last question of the day. What are the best tools to use for internet marketing right now? This is actually very easy. I like the Best Spinner, the software by Johnson Ledger. It's a very easy and intuitive tool to use when it comes to spinning content. Like I said, what I liked about is they have a central database that constantly updates with the latest ways to spin an article. Well, they just look at the latest syntax words to spin. And like I said in one of the first questions, is you don't want to just spin an adjective or a noun or a synonym. You want to rewrite whole phrases. And I'm not just talking about reversing a sentence. You want to mix it around to avoid any kind of footprint, sort of say. I mean, I'm thinking about them days when I used to be like a college student or a high school student trying to write a term paper, and one of the worst things you can do is get caught for plagiarism, and you try to rewrite the whole sentence to make sure that that you don't want to get caught. So that's kind of like what you want to do when it comes to spinning content. Is you don't want Google to catch you plagiarizing in an essence. So secondly is SE Nuke. SE Nuke just recently had a new update, and it just makes it life so easy automating a lot of the tools. Third is SEO Quake. I know we touched it so many times in the beginning of the training. It's free. I mean, that's the best thing about it. And it doesn't give you 100% pinpoint accuracy, but I don't think really any tools, and even the more expensive tools, can give you 100% pinpoint accuracy. Because at the end of the day, it's just a judgment. It's a guess. And but you still got to put in a lot of the work. And then finally, of course, spreadsheets and stuff is it's critical that you stay organized, because at the end of the day, that's what a spreadsheet is for, is to help you get organized. You want to have a spreadsheet with all your accounts that you open. You want to have a spreadsheet with all your niches. You want to separate all your niches, all the backlinks, and just and that just helps you keep organized, especially using the spreadsheets for your daily tasks. Every day, you want to make sure that you're doing something every day, because I know we talked about in my last webinar, is trying to stay motivated. You don't want to be online, surfing the web and getting distracted. Okay, you want to stay focused, focus like a laser beam, and make sure that you do your daily tasks. Start with the easy tasks first. Get them all out the way. Stay consistent, and all that consistency will end up resulting in much more money for you at the end of the day. So that would be for today's webinar. Sorry, I had to cut it real short too, because I know it was last minute to move the time and stuff. So what I'll do is I'll go try to get this thing rendered and uploaded in YouTube really fast, and I'll make sure I let everybody know. So once again, thank you. My name is Thomas Wooldridge. Got any questions, feel free to Skype me, twool9, or my email, thomas@relamark.com, RELAMARK.com, and then check out my personal blog, thomaswooldridge.com. Thank you very much, and happy Halloween for all you guys trick-or-treating tonight, and have a safe trick-or-treating. Thank you very much. Bye.
Screen sharing is paused.